when I did my study and wrote a thesis on the moral justification of killing in war, I thought it was just something I needed to answer my own questions, right? Because I've always wanted to be a soldier, but even more important than being a soldier is being a good human being. And I found an explanation that satisfied me. And I thought that was just for me. Then I had a series of instances in which I saw that this problem was bigger than just mine. For one, I read On Killing by Dave Grossman. And what I saw in reading the vignettes there is that the resistance to killing and the guilt that came after killing was a problem of people not understanding the explanation. Now, Grossman comes from a psychological background, and he sees guilt as something to be treated. Reading it through the lens of ethics, what I saw is people struggling because they couldn't justify to themselves what they had done. And then I started seeing that everywhere in the literature. Reading Black Hawk Down, other works, you just see people really struggling with that big question. Although it's fascinating, if you look at the index to a book may have several intense things of people killing and struggling with killing, but it's never indexed. Right? You can't go in the back and look up killing, struggling with killing, anything like that. It's just not one of the lenses that we look at things through. But anyway, so I started noticing that in the literature, in movies. And then I had this incident. I was going to give blood. I do that a lot in the military. And about a 50-year-old man coming up, and he's going to stick my arm. He's the phlebotomist or whatever. And he's doing the small talk as he sticks me. He says, "What do you do?" So that, you know, I teach here. So what do you teach? I teach philosophy. So what do you talk about in philosophy? So, oh, you know, we talk about like war and morality. And he freaks out. He yells at me, "There's no morality in war. It's all wrong. It's all wrong." Now you can imagine, this is like in a big auditorium of table after table after table of people giving blood. And he's just screaming at me. And the needle came out and blood got on my uniform. And everyone, you know, other workers came over to rush out to calm him down to help me out. And so as things came under control, I was like, "So, you've been in war?" And we got talking a little bit, and he explained how he had served in the Marine Corps in Vietnam. He's very proud that he had volunteered twice for 2 different tours of duty. And then he said, but war is all wrong, it's all wrong. And I started asking some more questions. He said, "You know, I'm sorry, I don't talk about it." I said, "Oh, I understand, it's a little bit public here, everyone's sort of looking at us anyway now. Maybe we'll just go out for beer one night. I'd love to hear about your experiences." And he looked at me and said, "No, you don't understand. I don't talk about it." And I just felt so sad. I was thinking, wow, here is an American who twice volunteered to serve his country in a time of war. And 30 years later, when someone else mentions war morality in the same sentence, he totally loses his composure. Because he just can't talk about it. And I thought, you know, gosh, you know, we in the military leaders, and we recruit people to fight and kill. We equip them to. We develop the plans to, right? We do all of this. We train them to kill effectively. But if we don't explain to them why it's the morally right thing to do, then they could be struggling 30 years later. And we owe our soldiers better than that. And since then, it's been, you know, so to my cadets in the classroom, I thought, you know what, well, when I teach philosophy, I'm going to take one lesson, I'm just going to talk about the morality of killing. And I would explain it to them, and I would be up on a board, you know, writing bubbles and stick figures to try to explain things. And cadets thought it was pretty cool. But when the war broke out in Iraq, I received emails from several of my former students saying, "Hey, remember you talked to us about killing? Can you send me something in writing? Can you send me slides? Because my soldiers are doing a lot of killing and they're struggling with it. And I feel like I need to help them." And that's when I was really determined that we need to be, as a profession, this is an issue. It's a core part of what we do as a profession of arms, kill enemy combatants. And we need to help our soldiers understand it, understand why it's right, and be at peace with themselves after they've killed on behalf of their country.